All right, you probably have been getting a sense of the scary markets this week. If Governor Matt Bevin was right in Kentucky, in the scheme of things about the economy going well, the overall market continue to go well, and other good bits of news, including the release of this pastor from Turkey here. He'll be with the president later on today. Add it all up, and you got a lot more good happening. This is according to the governor than any of these worrisome developments, but which will affect moods and votes in a little more than 3 weeks. Can you believe that? We've got the Independent Women's Forum's Nan Hayworth. We've got Democratic strategist Rochelle Ritchie, and Fox News contributor Katherine Timpf. Which wins out, Kat?
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I don't think that the market will really affect it that much because historically markets haven't affected elections that much. In 2002, when the tech bubble burst, S&P 500 went down 22%, and the president's party, which was the Republicans at the time, actually gained seats in the House and Senate. So I don't think that that's something that Republicans have to worry about. I think that the main concern is going to be enthusiasm because polls are showing that Democrats are more enthusiastic than Republican voters are right now.
All right. If that is the case, Nan, that would be a concern.
Yeah.
To Republicans.
Sure.
But is there anything we're missing? In some of these house-by-house races we see, I do notice gaps narrowing. I do know enthusiasm polls, which change, I understand.
Yeah.
They're within low single digits when they were double digits. Which is real? What's going on?
Well, you know, I think folks look, in having run in a swing congressional district, you know, folks on the ground in the district I was privileged to represent look a lot at what affects Main Street. And I don't mean that as a cliche. I mean, really, what are they seeing in their everyday lives? And definitely people are seeing, I mean, the statistics on our economic recovery and on the record rates of unemployment in every demographic group, including the disabled, veterans, youth. I mean, paychecks have risen. They rose 3.3% between 2016 and 2017. That's the best in 10 years. People are seeing really positive changes that I hope they will not feel complacent about and will credit to the GOP in the House and the Senate and the president. The other thing they're seeing on the Democratic side with the Kavanaugh process, which was so ugly, is that there is a lot of ugliness coming out in terms of the Antifa-type tactics that a lot of prominent Democrats, certainly not all,
and running
not
people and encouraging people to run people out of restaurants and make public life miserable.
The film from Portland, right?
Yes.
A mob. The police weren't even getting involved because they fear getting involved. Running cars off the street. People see that, and they see that this is the kind of thing happening in our everyday lives, and I think that should concern them about where the Democrats might want to go.
All right. Well, we should stress the Democrats aren't leading that charge. I mean, they're not saying we want you to run over people. All that. I know what you're saying. But Rochelle, is it your sense that the market is then, to Kat's point, a non-event? Because a lot of people tell you a market downdraft is one thing, a market crash is another thing. We hope it doesn't go into a crash material. Herbert Hoover found out the hard way that can go against you. But what do you make of that?
Well, you know, the economy has always been a factor, a motivating factor, I would say, in how people vote. But I think that we're in a new era of politics, really, where people are going to take their frustrations to the polls. And I don't think it's necessarily having to do with the economy. I think it's going to have more to do with personalities that they're seeing within our leadership in Congress and from the Oval Office that they simply do not like. And so I think that, you know, this is a slow-moving...
Who's more angry, then?
I think...
Nance went earlier here post-Kavanaugh. Women are very angry about the treatment. I don't see that as a monolithic vote, but what do you think?
Women are angry. African Americans are angry. And an issue that is really important
What are
to
they
me.
angry about if we have record low unemployment for both groups?
Well, for African Americans, we talk about record low unemployment, but we're still drowning. Whether you're drowning at 10%, 12%, or 6%, we as African Americans are still drowning in this economy. And wages...
The steady improvement, whether you like President Trump or not, the steady improvement under his stewardship for all of these groups is far more dramatic than any other president. So I'm just wondering why they would take it out on a president who's, at least on the issues I would think that would matter, delivered the goods.
Why would African Americans take out something on President Trump?
Yeah.
Because of his racist rhetoric.
So you think he's a racist?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I would dispute that strongly, Rochelle, with full respect to you, and I consider you a friend.
It's fine.
So you don't agree with Kanye?
I'm not seeing that.
Oh, absolutely not. Okay. I absolutely don't. And I don't want to, and this is the thing with Kanye West, I feel sorry for Kanye West. And look, if Kanye West is a conservative and he supports Trump, he is free to do that. But I think that what I saw in the Oval Office that day was really something that was more concerning health-wise than political.
You know what's weird about that? This is my opinion, but I can remember distinctly Kanye West being greeted in the media as a rock star, which he is, when he went after George Bush and said that he doesn't like black people, the treatment of Katrina. And everyone praised that and said how Renaissance and how foreign gutsy that was. Now that he's hooking up and liking Trump, he's a villain.
Even though some of his things that he was talking about when he was there with President Trump were more liberal causes than conservative causes. For example, stop and frisk, talking about stopping stop and frisk. That's something that liberals should be really happy about, seeing that he might be able to have an influence on criminal justice.
They're talking about stop and frisk, but what's not being reported right now is that Jeff Sessions has actually been instructed to stop police reform in Chicago by President Trump. That's not being talked about.
But that's not racist.